I have another simple one. Take back the Central.
Okay, Ryan Poles.
Right? Take back the Central. Forget take back the North. That seems like a pipe dream in football at this point. Take back the Central is not a pipe dream in baseball. You finish 10 games behind the Brewers, but they're almost taunting you from up in Milwaukee by letting their best player, in my eyes, Willie Adames, go. They're almost saying, like, we're so much better than the Cubs that we can let Adames go. We're so much better than the Cubs, we can let Williams go. We're so much better than the Cubs that we can let Counsell, like, keep on going down the list. At some point, when are you going to look yourself in the mirror and say, we need to take back this division? The Brewers are basically saying, we're not going to try as hard as we did last year, and we still think we can beat you in this division. The Cardinals, you finished with the same record. That should never happen again this season. Should never. The team you better worry about is Cincinnati, because if they ever figure it out, that might be the team that's the toughest in the division. But look at any other division in baseball. This is a winnable division. There are teams that are hoping and dreaming, just like the Cubs. You have way more money than anybody in this division. Let's hope you have way more talent. Take back the Central and don't ever give it back. There's no reason to. The Cubs ought to own this division.
Every year. Every year they should.
I'm not even sure they're the team right now that the other teams, like if you were to put out a poll in Cincinnati, in St. Louis, in Milwaukee, which team in the division scares you the most? How many of those teams or fan bases would say the Chicago Cubs? I want it to be all of them. It should be so obvious because of the money difference and who they are versus the rest of the teams in the division. It shouldn't even be close.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how many right now would put the Cubs at number one on that list or even top two on that list.
I think it would be like a very, very close race between Milwaukee and the Cubs.
I mean, I had no hope for the Cardinals last year, and they finished with the same 83 wins that the Cubs did. That's disgraceful.
Yeah.
Because they basically gave up last year, too.
No, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Like, they're looking at it, and they know things are wrong with their organization.
Well, yeah, now, but last year they ran it back and added a bunch of veteran pitchers.
By the way,
I saw
with Goldschmidt gone, I saw a headline somewhere that said something about Rizzo in the National League, and I panicked for a second thinking he would never go to the Cardinals, would he?
No. Well, the Cardinals aren't going to be interested in him.
No, the team was the Marlins, which I thought was interesting. Mervis and Rizzo fighting for playing time in Miami would be interesting if that happened.
That wouldn't surprise me, though, because he's from Florida.
Right. Yeah, his house is down there.
So,
I don't know. Am I crazy that they ought to just own the division? Like,
no.
10 games is like.
Oh.
Do you think the Cubs have made themselves 6 games better than they were last year? And if the Brewers decreased their value by 5 games, that's the 11 I'm not a math major. That's the 11 games you're looking for.
Yeah.
Are the Brewers without Adames 5 games worse and the Cubs 6 games better with Tucker? I think there's still more work to be done.
Yes, there's still more work to be done. Milwaukee, they traded Williams, but they got a guy in return that's probably going to play a lot for them, right?
Yeah.
And listen, like Milwaukee wasn't just Adames. When you're reading off the average
but he had a
of
great
runs,
year last year.
Sure, but you listed how many runs they average per game. Like,
yeah.
Jackson Chourio
Top
is
10.
going to be one of the best players in this division for years to come, unfortunately, right? Joey Ortiz is a nice player. Terang's a nice player. They still have William Contreras. It was more than Adames.
Yelich is back.
I think Milwaukee is a team that we still have to look at and have not necessarily fear, but you can't sleep on them. You should absolutely be better than them every year based off your payroll. Yes. It's a bad look when you lead the division in payroll and you don't win it. Yes.
We all silly like the mayor.